On today's show, the Dallas Mavericks fall to the Orlando Magic. The fourth quarter offense just completely stalls out. Do the Mavericks have a bigger problem on their hands?
They really miss KP tonight. Really miss Tim Hardaway. But it's good seeing Jamal Mosley.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that. We'll break down the week and a what if watching this Orlando Magic team. We'll talk about all that coming up on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Hey, Dallas Mavericks are NBA champions. Bang! Bang! It's good!
And the Mavericks have won the game!
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network. Thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every single day. We are free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, where you can see us right now. And you know, it's Who Day all day for me. It's Who Day all day for me.
How are you feeling?
Thank you to everybody that reached out to me, tweeted at me. It was great to see people be like, congrats to the only Bengals fan I know, Nick Angstadt.
Well, you know what? You're joined by another one.
No. Joining me, as always, my co-host, contributor, writer at Mavs.com, the Ravens rambunctious renegade, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
I am a huge Ravens fan, but I'm super happy. I don't hate the Bengals. If it's the Steelers, different story. But no, I was going to say, you're joined by another lifelong Bengals fan, LeBron himself.
I guess so.
A picture of Burrow today. You know, I guess he just put his Browns and Cowboys gear up. It's like, you know what? I'm going to be a Bengals fan now.
Well,
so,
Burrow was Burrow's from obviously Ohio. He's a huge Cavs fan his whole life. And so he's tweeted a bunch of stuff about LeBron. And so, but I thought it was interesting. LeBron tweeted the picture of Burrow from LSU and not from the Bengals. But yeah, LeBron just goes where the wind goes with football. Because
with anything,
LeBron used to be a Cowboys fan, and then all of a sudden he was
Browns,
back to Browns, and then it was like Rams because he's in LA. It doesn't matter with him. But all right, let's get into today's episode of the Mavericks. Lose to the Orlando Magic in a game that I said that they were absolutely going to win.
Yes, you did.
I'm just not going to call for any more wins or losses. Second night of a back-to-back for the Mavericks without Porzingis, without Tim Hardaway Jr. But this was a game the Mavericks had. It was right there for them. And it came down to that last fourth quarter. It came down to the last 5 minutes. I tweeted this out, but I'm going to go over it on the podcast. Starting at the 5 minutes and 16-second mark, the Mavericks did not make a field goal throughout the rest of the last 5 minutes. Here are the Mavs' offensive possessions in the last 5 minutes. Luka, turnover. Luka, missed three. Marquise Chris, missed three. Maxey, missed three. Luka, fouled, goes to the line, misses one of his free throws. Dorian, missed three. Maxey, missed three. Bullock, missed three. Maxey, missed three. Dorian gets fouled on the offensive rebound, goes to the line, 1 of 2 from the line. Maxey, turnover on that rebound he got, and then Maxey missed the 2. Bullock got the offensive rebound, but he couldn't get the shot off in time. What did all those missed threes say to you? Because I see a lot of people, throwing shade at Maxey and saying he's trash and all that kind of stuff. But what does that say to you that that's what the offense was at the end of this game?
No, Maxey's not trash.
No, get out of here. He's 2 of 7 from 3. It's not that big a deal.
He just misses, his shots tonight. But I mean, a lot of people did, right? Like, especially at the end of the game, just like you said, it's you start really dissecting those last 5 minutes, but then you also look at the shot quality of some of them too. And it's like, all right, well, it's not like that they were, just doing step backs in people's faces, right, and are 30-footers by Luka 4 times in a row. So it wasn't something like that. A lot of these threes were open. They were good looks. It's like, all right, they just didn't go down, and it sucked. But that's just kind of how it tonight felt like a game like a year and a half ago of there was no offense, the guys struggling shooting, it felt like an anomaly a little bit, especially over the past, you look at the past 3 weeks of this team. Like, the defense was not there tonight. They weren't hitting their shots, especially, as of late. And it just felt like a weird one-off type of game, a second night of back-to-back.
I thought the Mavs defense was there in the first quarter and in the fourth quarter. It was not in the second quarter at all, right? The defense completely fell apart in the second quarter. It was fine in the third. Literally just the score of the game kind of told you what the defense was in this game. I thought the defense was fine. And don't forget, the Mavericks lost this game. They missed, listen to the last 5 minutes again of what they did on offense. And they still had a shot to win this game. And it was because of their defense. But to me, I look at a game like this and I'm saying, okay, it cannot be just live and die by the three, right? Jason Kidd came into this job for the Dallas Mavericks as the head coach and said, we won't live and die by the three, blah, blah, blah. And here it is. This is exactly the type of game that you want to try to avoid. And you have two guys on your team that are incredible in the mid-range, incredible at posting up, incredible at, getting to the line and doing that kind of stuff that they do in Luka and Brunson. I didn't say Brunson's name that entire time. Like, Brunson did not finish a play the entire last 5 minutes. Yeah. And I think that is what has to change. If Luka is going to be doubled and trapped and all that, Brunson has to be the one to take advantage of it on the other end. He has to be able to get the ball and do something with it. And I'm not sure a lot of it wasn't like built up for him to do that. A lot of it wasn't called for him to do that in this game tonight. They were just kicking out to open shooters and they went and tried for it. And they're like, all right, well, maybe we'll make a couple of these. And hey, if they make two of those threes, one of those threes, we're maybe not talking about this.
Fourth quarter, Mavericks were 7 of 20 from the field. They're 2 of 12 from three. That's in the entire fourth quarter, not even the last 5 minutes that Nick rallied off there. But
that counts though. The last 5 minutes is part of the
it defined the season.
Defined this game for sure.
When Luka was out at the beginning of the fourth quarter and it was a tight game, and I'm like, Orlando made their little run there in the third. And, they went up by 10. It's like, oh, dang, is this going to be one of those dumb games? Mavericks, quickly came back. Felt like in 30 seconds they were back in the game. But as the fourth quarter is super, the start of the fourth is super close game. Magic were up just a little bit. I'm like, all right, this is feels like a deciding moment here a little bit. And, obviously no Porzingis in the game. No Tim Hardaway. This was a prime Tim Hardaway 6-3s game, and the Mavericks win by
where no one's watching except for us, and he just goes off like the Detroit game last year.
It's like, dang,
it's definitely one of those games.
This is one of those games, but when you lose the offense of KP and Tim, and then when Luka's not on the floor, you look at it and say, all right, JB, now's your time. This is when the whole conversation about secondary creator, playmaker, that guy, and being that guy. That's when you needed JB tonight to step up and say, all right, get me 25 tonight when Luka's, put him 34.
Marquise Chris should not have more shot attempts than Jaylen Brunson, right? That just should not be a thing that happens. JB's got to call for it yourself, man. Like, call your own number. I think Jason Kidd, draw up some stuff for Brunson, clear out for Brunson. If they're going to double Luka like that, take advantage of what Brunson has become this year.
And he was efficient in his shots. He shot 54% from the field, 66.
Because he always makes the right decision, and he does. But you gotta sometimes, if you're going to be the guy to step up, you have to make a selfish decision instead of just the right basketball decision.
Yeah,
and I felt like that's something that needs to change. Yeah, Marquise Chris with 12 shot attempts and Brunson with 11, while Luka has 22. Like, that shouldn't happen, right? KP never finishes a game with 10 shot attempts, right? He's always going for it. He's trying to be that number two. You have to step into that role, especially with Tim and Porzingis out of the game. There's a lot of different things, but the Mavericks are going to struggle with this until they finally get it because of Tim and when Porzingis is out.
And that's why I say it felt like a game from last year, a year and a half ago. It felt like, dang, when we just lived and died by Luka. And it has felt like this season Brunson has taken that step. KP has been healthier and putting up points. And it's like, all right, it hasn't felt as heavy on Luka's shoulders. Tonight was one of those nights. I mean, the dude put up 34 points, 11 assists, 12 rebounds. He was 13 of 22 from the field, hit 4 threes in a game. He was a plus 11 in a loss. The plus minus numbers on this are, you look across it and it's like Dorian was a plus 6. But then Maxey in the starting lineup with Luka was a minus 10. Luka was a plus 11. JB was a minus 5 in this game. So it's just it felt like Luka and then the supporting cast tonight. And I think, we can handpick which guys that, hey, who do we want to blame the most? Maxey, JB, all this stuff. I kind of look at Jaylen Brunson a lot in this and saying, all right, big contract coming this summer. This was a night that I needed him to be a CJ McCollum helping Dame put up, 30 in a game, something like that. And it just couldn't get there.
because the Mavs have no other offensive options besides these catch and shoot threes and the lobs to Chris and Powell.
That's why I'm not as upset with the end of the fourth quarter by saying, man, it just ended in all these threes, because they were open threes. And I'm like, well, what else do we have? What else do we have to freaking do? Like, even on the very last play of the game for Dallas, like, Luka got the ball. Luka drove to the basket. What happened? 3 dudes came in on him. Now, he drove to the right side, kind of into, that corner defender there. And then, Franz came over the top and was like almost a triple team. It was definitely a double team on Luka. So it's like, hey, drive to the basket, but you drive to the basket so then you can kick out. And they kicked out and they had open threes. They just didn't make them tonight. So I'm not as upset about the shot selection. It's just, he's got to make the dang shots.
Coming up, there's a what if built into this game. There's some Mavs connections here, a couple figures, not just the coach, but there's a couple figures on this Mavs team that really make this team a big what if for the Dallas Mavericks. We'll talk about that a little bit more and break down this game a little more coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Built Bar. It's a protein bar that tastes like a candy bar. If you haven't had these before and you've been listening to us for a long time, just trust us. Trust us. Trust us. They're good. We've had so many listeners reach out to us and say, these are incredible bars. I get them all the time. I spend my own dang money on this. Like literally these advertisements pay us to read these advertisements, and then we get paid from them. And then I turn around and give that money back to them to get their product, right? Like that's basically how this is working. Coconut brownie chunk is the best bar. 150 calories, 15 grams of protein, 7 grams of sugar in a bar covered in 100% chocolate with like little brownie chunks on top of it. That's what makes it, right? Those little brownie chunks on top make it. And it's an incredible snack. It's an incredible meal replacement or a meal tide yourself over until. They also have the Puffs bars, so don't have the same kind of consistency. They have marshmallow in the middle. I love those. I just ordered a new box of churro puffs. 140 calories, 17 grams of protein, 6 grams of sugar. Use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your entire order at built.com. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into this game just a little bit more. The Mavericks made more mistakes than just the missed threes, right? There was way more mistakes in this game. They had 18 turnovers in this game. They allowed the Magic to score 26 points off of those 18 turnovers.
Five against the Pacers, for reference.
They just like this team, can vacillate. Wassail is the word I thought that's the word that came to mind.
It's an amazing drink.
Wassail, yeah, wassail is the drink, but wassail, vacillate between the two. There's an English word.
Seems like a weird word.
It's like an old English word I was thinking for some reason, but yeah, this team can have a bunch of turnovers in the game or no turnovers in the game. It just depends on how they're playing in this one. And this was only I guess it was a 6 turnover game for Luka, 12 for everybody else. So it was just a bunch of guys turning the ball over. Dwight Powell had 3, Maxey had 2, Dorian had 2, Bullock had 2. Like it was the role players that really turned the ball over a lot. So you really have to clean that up. Bench points. I look at bench points as a huge thing for the Mavericks. The Magic had 3 guys off the bench that really filled it up for them. Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, Chuma Okeke. Mavericks right now, without Tim Hardaway Jr. and Porzingis, they do not have the offensive, firepower off the bench to match that, which is sounds fun, weird, man. Chuma is fun.
I like that guy.
And Chuck called him OKK the whole night, which I found pretty funny. I love Chuck on the broadcast though. That guy is so smart with just like all of a sudden Brian Damaris brought up like a Greek player and Chuck is like, oh yeah, this guy won a championship with blah, blah, blah. He like just has such an encyclopedic knowledge about random sports facts. But if Trey Burke is not going to step up into that 6-man role, if Jason Kidd doesn't trust him enough to really step into that 6-man role without Tim Hardaway Jr., then the Mavericks don't have any offensive creation off the bench. Like no offense off the bench at all.
Somebody tweeted at me after the game and said, hey, they should have put Trey Burke in. He would have hit one of those shots. I'm not confident that Trey Burke's the answer. I'm not confident that Trey Burke wins them this basketball game. I'm not really upset with any of the rotation stuff. I think Jason Kidd has a very valid, if we're looking at just the last 2 possessions of this game, I think Jason Kidd has a very valid reason to be furious. That was one of the most more frustrating moments I've seen of Kidd this season. Kidd's so calm and collected on the sidelines. I joke sometimes when
This is a positive world. We'll take the positive.
I joke when they're in the press box sometimes. I'm like, is he gonna get a tech? Like I feel like we never see him get really upset. But man, he was upset. When they missed the free throw at the end of the game, Maxey gets the rebound and Maxey grabs the ball. As soon as he grabs the ball, Jason Kidd's calling for a timeout, and they don't call the timeout.
He's got a mask on too, right? Which kind of muffled it. But the ref wasn't looking at him at all.
Wasn't looking at him. I mean, he's visibly calling the timeout in this. Then Maxey makes the mistake, right? I mean, I get it. Maxey should
absolutely,
he should not have dribbled the ball. He dribbles the ball. Jalen Suggs, steals it. Blah blah blah. Kid's just furious about it, and super mad. They should have got the timeout. Didn't go your way. Last possession happened. It wasn't great last 30 seconds there for Maxey because the ball gets to Maxey in that corner. He pump fakes, has a wide open three, but Dorian's like literally right in front of me, like 3 feet in front of him. Now, I'm not typically the guy that says, oh, he should have made this decision in those split moments. I know a lot of people love to do that because it's so hard in that moment.
It's easy when we're sitting here watching them.
It is so easy. And it's easy for me to sit on my couch and watch that and be like, Dorian's literally right in front of you, 3 feet in front of you. It just like a tap pass to him and he's dunking the ball and it's a tie ball game. But it's a split second decision, end of a basketball game. I get it. He shoots it and misses it. Just a bad end of the game for Maxey. I kind of feel for him, but who I don't feel for? And that is Mo Wagner.
Not at all.
I'm not here for this guy.
No. What's the opposite of the hot man? The hot player. What's the opposite of that? Let's give it.
Do Magic fans like him? Is he like a Salah? Is he if he's on your team, you like him, but when like everybody else hates him? I have seen, but one of my favorite things is when trash players talk trash, and it's just hilarious to me. I love it, and I love Luka's clap back here and there. Shout out to this draft class too. I know we talk about this draft class a lot, but man, Franz is amazing. I love that
this
guy.
year. The rookies this year, yeah. Franz Wagner is for real.
Dude, 6'10", can handle that thing. Jalen Suggs feels like he's getting better.
The magic between Cole Anthony had some real moments in this game.
My guy, Cole Anthony. I love this guy.
What a steal. Between him,
dunk contest, Cole Anthony, baby.
Franz Wagner, and then Chuma Okeke. Like they had some real moments from some of these guys. From some of these younger guys, I think they're gonna be okay with some of these. I mean, it might take them a little bit. They gotta figure out who the number one is. I don't think they have that guy yet, but they have some good pieces.
I think they make some moves too. They'll probably trade Terrence Ross, Gary Harris, something like that. But
Wendell Carter Jr. is one that really sticks out for me, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so when I watch this team, I can't help it. It's the Wendell what if.
What if?
And when you're frustrated, you're watching the Mavs, you're like, dang it, this loss sucks. Or you're mad about life, you got a bill coming up. And you're like, dang, I don't know how I'm gonna pay this bill. Work's just going too long. You're like, I need something to think about to get my mind off of it.
Give me some juice in my life.
And you need something positive. Just think, what if they didn't make the trade for Luka? We would have had Wendell Carter Jr. and Dennis Smith Jr. as our duo to build around.
There's a moment in time in the multiverse where you and I are sitting at the American Airlines Center at the draft party for media, and a tweet notification comes to my phone, and I open it, and it says, Mark Stein, the Mavericks are still undecided and really holding back. They don't want to send Wes Matthews in the deal to trade up to get Luka Doncic. And you just look at me and
they don't want to take back Kent Bazemore's money.
They don't want to take back Kent Bazemore's money, and they don't want to send Wes Matthews. And we just looked at each other and we're like, this is going to be another Giannis. If they miss this could be another thing where Cuban doesn't draft Giannis, basically, right? When the Mavs did that. We were like, this is going to be the biggest what if forever. Absolutely. But the Mavs we don't have to say that what if, right? Like,
what if?
That's not a what if. But the Mavs could have Wendell Carter Jr. and Dennis Smith Jr. That could be the core that you're building around for the Mavs.
I mean, they're probably not on the team at this point, but
both.
But still, I don't know, man. Because we joke about this because there were numerous reports that came out at the time that Dallas did like Wendell Carter, and obviously they make the trade. Luka, they move up to 3, get Luka. Jaren Jackson Jr. goes 4 to Memphis. Atlanta moves back to 5, get Trey. And, then the rest falls like it does with Mo Bamba, Wendell, and those guys. And it's just, if that trade doesn't happen and Dallas just stays pat at 5 and they just walk out of that draft with Wendell, is like, man, because a lot of people, like some draft people are like, oh, Al Horford 2.0, is this him?
I remember in our draft profile we thought that he could be Al Horford 2.0, and I mean he's still got time, he's still really young.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's not like bad. I'm not saying anything like, but I mean he's not in like Luka's world, so
he's 22.
It's just that's just one of those what ifs, and obviously you would have kept your 2019 pick that next year, but
that's true.
Let's roll with Dennis, Wendell, and Cam Reddish.
Let's say that becomes Zion. Let's throw it out there and say it becomes Zion.
Well, I mean, Wendell's playing more than Zion, I guess. So.
Brunson, Harrison Barnes, Wendell Carter Jr., and Zion. What's that getting you?
No, Dwight would be starting with Zion. Wendell's coming off.
Dwight Powell is a Nexus being. He just is the same in every universe. There's no version of the multiverse where Dwight Powell is not on the Mavericks.
Dwight, Zion, Dorian, Dennis.
Oh man! All right, coming up, let's get into the rest.
Do a third segment.
Let's empty the notebook about this game. Anything else that stood out to us, and then let's look at the standings for the Dallas Mavericks. What's coming up? What can we expect from this week? The trade deadline is coming up soon. It's not this Thursday, but next Thursday. So get ready. We will get into that coming up. All right, Isaac Harris, let's get into the rest of this game. But before we do, let me tell you about Locked On NBA, the ultimate trade deadline show, February 10th. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday when the trade deadline happens. We will have John Krause and the GOAT, Josh Lloyd, on the show. I will be producing it along with the rest of our crew there. The hour before the trade deadline, the hour after the trade deadline. So wherever you are, that's 2 to 4 Central Time, Dallas, Texas time. So wherever you are out there, just know, subscribe to the Locked On NBA YouTube channel. Turn on notifications for that. All right, let's get into the rest of this game. Anything else stand out to you? I thought Josh Green had some really good moments, and I'm feeling just really good about Josh Green contributing. And I think 100% different than what I was to begin the season and even a month into the season. He finishes the game playing 22 minutes. Hit 2 threes. One of them was a bomb grenade that Frank Ntilikina dished off to him over on the left side because he didn't realize that the shot clock was going down. 11 points, 3 assists for Josh Green, and some pretty good assists. It's noticeable when he's in the game, him, Dorian, and Bullock, that they just force a lot more turnovers. They force a lot more steals. The defense is better on the perimeter. Jason Kidd even subbed Josh Green into the game at the end for a defense-offense situation. I'm feeling very positive about Josh Green and the way that he can actually contribute.
Yeah, definitely positive. I don't know if I'm 100% different on him.
For me, the reason why I say that is, for me at the beginning of the season, when Kidd wasn't playing him, I was like, oh, well, he's just not an NBA player because they just don't see anything in him and they're not giving him any minutes at all. They weren't playing him, in the least bit. So I said, well, if 2 sets of coaches don't believe in him to even try to develop him, then he just may not be worth it. We were seeing all the stuff Desmond Bane was doing and like all the other guys the Mavs could have drafted. And I thought it was just a lost cause. I definitely jumped the gun on that one. And it seems like it's kind of turned around there. So that's where I was, at least.
Yeah. And I mean, he had that, I tweeted it out during the game when he had that corner 3. It's almost like he looks better. He does better whenever he doesn't have to think about a shot. You watch you watch Josh Green before a game. We've watched him pregame so much at the AAC, and it's like you watch him doing these, just set shot threes, and you're like, okay, got to work on this form a little bit, Mm-hmm. But it's like that 3 they took in the corner, it was just all in one motion. Caught it, went up, shot fluid. It. It's like it looked smooth, it would look fluid. I'm like, all right, maybe we just get you shots whenever you're not thinking about it. And then the fourth quarter came, and he did the pump fake. 1 dribble in, long 2, and didn't even hit the rim. It just like off the backboard. I mean, it was like a loud brick right off the backboard. And it's like, all right, still got some learning to do. But that's the category that he needs to learn the most in or get better in the most is the shooting, because he plays good defense. He passes the heck out of a ball.
He's great at that.
He had a cross court pass tonight to the other corner to Reggie. I'm like, whoa. I think Luka's the only guy on the team that can pull a pass like that off. So he's fun. I think he's fun at the the 16 to 20 minute,
Sure.
mark.
Yeah. No,
I'm
that's
not,
good.
I'm not looking for him to, I'm not looking at Josh Green and saying this.
Can he replace Bullock?
Well, no, I'm not looking at it and saying, you know what? We might have to pay Dorian this summer. Let's listen to the offers for Dorian because we got Josh. I'm not there for that. I'm sorry. I'm not that. So he's fun off the bench. I think let him keep developing. Let's, give him minutes. I love seeing him get minutes to where at least we're seeing him develop instead of, hey, he's just, folding the towels over there. But
unfolding them and twirling them around. And
it's a tight rotation tonight too, right? I mean, there was only 8 players that basically play. Like Frank and Trey played 3 minutes in this game, but it's a pretty tight rotation. Dorian played 38 minutes in this game. Luka 37. Second night of a back-to-back. So, they probably, and the travel, they played Indiana, Rick's returned there Saturday night in Dallas, flew to Orlando to play this game. Early tip too, 6 o'clock Central Time. So the schedule makers didn't do them the best service in this game.
No, they really forced the Mavs should have to play both of their former coaches.
And the emotions too. I mean, can you imagine all the emotional, just like, seeing Rick just brought like, so happy emotions that just draining,
So now the Dallas Mavericks lose this game, and this is how brutal the West can be. They got passed up by the Denver Nuggets tonight. The Nuggets are all of a sudden on a 5-game winning streak. They're 28-21. So the Mavericks have played a couple more games than them. But yeah, all of a sudden the Mavs are 6th in the Western Conference, but the Jazz are only a game and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
A game and a half up on them, or 2.5 games up on them.
I thought it was just a game.
A game and a half up on them. Math. Yeah, Jazz are only a game and a half up on both the Nuggets and the Mavericks. So there's a scenario where in a couple days the Mavs are 4th, the Nuggets are 5th, and the Jazz are 6th there. And also it looks like from all the reports I'm seeing right now, Joe Ingles suffered a really, really bad injury the night tonight. Could have been an ACL, MCL, something like that, which is brutal for them. But they're in just a tailspin.
Yeah, Ingles was a buyout target for me, not for Utah, but I think if they swing, I mean, he still could. He could be like a Rubio situation for him. But, if they swing for a bigger deal, like a Harrison Barnes or Jeremy Grant or something like that, they're going to have to use Ingles' expiring contract, which is, 12, 13 million or something like that. So he was a guy I was watching to where if they sent him to like a Sacramento and Ingles is like, don't know if I want to play in Sacramento. I want to play for a contender. It's like, could we, I would love Ingles off the bench, but hoping the best for him. Hopefully it's not too bad.
What are you expecting this week for the week before the trade deadline? Usually I think this week we get a Monday, empty the notebook, some kind of report or something. So we're hoping that we have something to report to you guys tomorrow. Rumors. I'm sure there'll be stuff all over the place. If you see stuff, tag us in it. If you see rumors, so we can talk about them on the show. You can tag me and stuff like that.
My favorite is when Woj tweets something about the Mavs and then like we start getting DMs and tweets like, hey, did you see Woj say?
Yeah, not the Woj stuff, right? But the stuff in the corners. But
legitimate people too.
Don't tag me if it's Scoop B because he blocked me for some reason. So
what'd you say?
I don't know. I've never interacted with Scoop B, so
that's adorable. What I'm expecting this week, yeah, I mean, Monday's gonna be a day. We'll see some, God forbid, some freaking Ben Simmons updates.
I think he's staying, man. I think they trade him in the offseason. They waste a year of Joel Embiid's career.
Let's try to guess the Ben Simmons headline this week. Let me go first.
Okay.
Ben Simmons and Clutch meet with Philly ownership today and discuss his current situation. And sides have agreed that Philly will look for a trade, but if it doesn't work out, they'll revisit it in the offseason. But Simmons will stay away for mental health reasons.
Both sides of the Sixers and Ben Simmons are encouraged by the progress they have made in trying to find a trade for Ben Simmons. There's going to be something where there's like, they both feel good about the movement they've made, but there's literally no movement that has made, right? Like, yeah. I feel like that's what it's going to be.
That's what it is. It's happening this week. Maybe not on Monday, but it's happening.
Yeah, it'll happen this week.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what else. I mean, I think for Dallas's sake, I mean, I don't think the Brunson Dorian stuff's going anywhere until the deadline passes. Like, that's only gonna. I think it's only gonna heat up, to be honest. Especially when you look at, it feels like some of these guys are kind of dropping out of we were walking out of the game the other night, getting in the car, and it's like, dang, like how's this deadline gonna, be now? If Ben stays, if Miles Turner's not gonna get traded, are we really just watching to see who
are the big names?
Jeremy Grant, Terrence Barge traded. If Sacramento's holding on to Fox, does a team look at a Brunson or something and say, all right, we want to really go after? I don't know. Like, we'll see. I think, if you listen to Zach Lowe's pod the other day, he talked briefly about the Mavs, and when he said, the Mavs are his sneakily, most interesting team at the deadline for just the direction they go if they stand pat or if they, decide to shake it up with some of these guys that could be free agents. But either way, we'll have rumors. Just make sure you follow the right people for the rumors and the legitimate. And let's see what Mark Stein's been doing great stuff in his Substack. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe to that. We'll see. Obviously, Woj and Shams, see what Cato has to say this week. Tim McMahon's always going to be reporting. It should be fun to see what trickles out this week. And of course, as you guys know, and if you jumped on over the past, 6 months, let's say you're a brand new Locked On Mavs listener.
Shout out to you.
We do some emergency pods. All right. So if something big goes down over the next week and a half, it's kind of like, we love to do an emergency pod. We've done it for all the big events that's happened over the past 5 years.
The Nerlens Noel trade, the Porzingis trade,
that Porzingis trade. I mean, it might still hold the record for our most downloads in a pod. Maybe.
Oh
maybe.
No, I think we beat it for the playoffs this past year, and then
the Luka game winner in the bubble,
and then probably the Slovenia Olympics run. I think we probably.
Oh yeah, that Slovenia run made us some change. But, anyway, stay tuned. We'll be talking about all the rumors.
Thanks again for making Locked On Mavs your first listen every single day. We are back tomorrow breaking down all the rumors that come out on Monday. Now make your second listen Locked On Bets or Locked On NBA. Go check out both of those podcasts. Great stuff from Jackson Gatlin talking to the 3 biggest stories around the league on Locked On NBA. I also host the show on Thursdays, so go check out Locked On NBA on YouTube and on the podcast. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs. Peace. Boo.